Football fans, Gooners, welcome to another edition of the Positively Uncensored Arsenal podcast. This is your host, Shotta, and I have the one and only, my friend and associate, Blackburn George, and Ehab, the wandering nomad of the Positively Uncensored team. How are you guys doing?
All
I'm
good,
all
man.
right.
All right. So, guys, today we're going to talk about transfers. The
hmm
football world loves transfers, and Arsenal fans are no exception. And I thought today we should look at Arsenal transfers, past and future, taking into account the 21-22 season. But of course, the basis of where we were laid before. And I think we should just look at it in a broad way because in our last podcast with George and Mills, George made the point that the future lies decisively with our transfers upcoming. You should be aware that our squad is down to 21 players. Well, officially, I think he's not counting Lacazette, who is gone. But it may or may not. This is coming from Transfer Market and valued at $521 million. Euros. I'm sorry, guys. Euros. We don't do dollars here. And you know, guys, since Arteta came in, we have splurged. And I wondered where we are going. But George, what have you thought of? What do you think of the transfers and their impact on the 21-22 season?
Mixed. I don't think they're as bad as some people think they are, and then they're certainly not as good as people thought they were at the beginning of the year. I don't think anybody has made a notable difference to the standard to which we play at the end of the day. If you go through them, if Leno had played instead of Ramsdale, we'd probably have conceded less goals, but we probably might not have scored as many because he's better at distributing. Ben White's been okay, but he's no David Luiz, so we've not improved there. Tomasaku, he's done all right when he's been able to play. He's not set the world on fire, though. He's not, doesn't add that much to the team. Tavares, unfortunately, adds very little. Congo, very little. So who have I missed? Oh, Odegaard.
Martin Odegaard, yes.
Yeah, he's probably been the biggest success, and he's been okay. Probably been a little bit better than okay. So I'd say Odegaard. So 1 out of 6 has improved. The others have kept us the same at very best and probably made us a little bit weaker, actually. If you look at who they've replaced,
George, you may be right. I'm going to run this graphic here for everybody to see. Bukayo Saka scored the most goals and had 7 assists. Lacazette, who's been around, he had 7 assists, only 6 goals. But Odegaard had only 4 assists and 7 goals. This is right across all the competitions. So you might be touching on a great point here because we didn't get anything from Congo. I think Tavares might have had an assist. You call him during the season. Yes, 1 assist. So my friend Ehab, you have been one of the persons who very skeptical of our transfer strategy. And when you look at that list of players and their contribution for 21-22, how do you evaluate the transfers? Their contribution to our season?
There's nothing against the players, but it's been a bit of a waste of money. The players are. Odegaard is one of my favorites on the team. I love Tavares. I actually like the purchase of Tavares. But the thing that happened is we started buying when we are not certain. It's like shopping when you're hungry. You go to the grocery store and you start buying and buying and buying and buying, and you get home and you have your dinner and you look around and you have no idea why you bought this and you're never gonna cook it. And this is what happened. Arteta had no idea why he's buying those players. Um, we had we had Emmett Smith Rowe as number 10, and we had Joe Willock also who can play a cam. So he went and spent 30 million on Odegaard. We had Hector Bellerin, Chambers, and Cedric on the right side with Ainsley Maitland-Niles able to play there. And he went and put all of those away and got Tomayasu. And over and over again, Joe Willock, AMN, and we had people in the middle. There was this Aziz was developing, but what he did is he just benched all of those, sold them or loaned them, and he went out and got Lokongo for 20 million after he got Partey for 50 million. So this is the problem. The problem is none of this is planned, and those are good players, but none of this is planned. And he ended up benching the players that he bought. He ended up benching Lokongo despite starting him at the start of the season. He ended up benching
Tavares.
Tavares, and he used them at the start of the season, and he was a big part of it. And this is where it goes. He's just learning as it goes. And the thing is, you think about it and you say, okay, nothing bad happened. We can go back to using what we use, and just get rid of what we don't. But this is club's money, and we've seen the debt by Forbes the other day.
Oh yes.
Um, yeah, you cannot keep playing with club money, and if you notice, Arteta's last couple of days, the moves and the interviews, it sounds and feels like they are starting to feel that we don't have this open amount of money. We don't have this open spending that we had 250 over 2 seasons. This is not going to happen again. So hopefully they have learned from this. Hopefully, as I always said, you don't choose what you learn. It's most of the times it's forced upon you. Hopefully he learned that when he buys a player, he has to need this player, and he has to play him, and he has to get the best out of him. That's it.
George, but everybody says transfers will solve our problems, and we spent 150 million in at the beginning of last season. And don't forget, we spent some money on Cedric and Marie before, and got rid of Marie, by the way. What is driving this, George? I have my own ideas. What is driving? Ehab said they don't. It's like a man going to the supermarket hungry and just buying everything on the shelf. And when he comes home, he's just like, "Why did I buy half this food?" We can all relate to that. But what is driving this strategy, this policy, George? Help the
Well,
audience.
well, I can't because we're told it's he's buying players to suit his system, and then he buys them, and he can't play them because they don't suit his system. What
Wow.
the fuck? You know, you tell me. I'm as clueless as anybody. I have no idea why he's bought most of those players. Uh, if we'd have spent that money on the right players, say just two players instead of buying six, uh, I don't know. It's easy for me to say. we if we'd have done that, we'd only have had a squad of 14. So so maybe that's not a good idea either. I have no idea what he's doing. I don't think he really knew what he was doing either. I mean, the policy went from buying old established players,
Mhm.
William, etc., to suddenly buying young, inexperienced players. It's like from one extreme to the other. It's like the Arsenal fucking fan base. We lurch from one extreme to another. He wants to get down the middle, get some 25-year-olds in this time, and see how that works out. But like I said in the last podcast, in my opinion, although people say year after year after year, this is the most important transfer window this club has had in my memory of the club anyway.
Ehab, though, you agree? I mean, Georgia said it before and he said it again that this transfer window coming up is perhaps the most important because we're down to 21 players, some of whom are gone. Pepe is going to be going, in my
Yeah.
opinion, by June 1st, when the not June 1st, July 1st, when the window opens again. He's a goner. He's giving him no games. They're saying that Tavares will be loaned. God knows what's
Yeah.
going to happen to La Congo. Tell me, where are we
Well,
going?
um, the important thing again is not to spend any money because
you
we are not
you're committing sacrilege, Ehab. The fan base does not believe that. Keep going.
because we are not spending to improve the team. We are spending so the manager and the director can keep their jobs. To just justify that, look at us, we are going out and bringing in the talent, and we are trying. And now that we have set up the team the right way, we have signed the players the people want. Now we can use other excuses. This is what's going on. And this is what I call a mercenary way of running a club. This is how Manchester United is run. They are all worried about the jobs. Nobody is worried about the club. What you have to do is, I mean, I've tweeted this, and I said, the team that we had when Wenger left, if we had taken this team, don't you think this team is good enough to not get top four in 5 years and get eighth twice and once fifth? I think it was good enough. I think let me put Emre aside. The team that Mikel Arteta had after Emre went, he had he had depth, he had everything. He had Leno and Emi Martinez. He had Bellerin, Chambers, AMN on the right. He had Holding. He had Mustafi. He had Saliba. He had David. I think David Luiz.
Yes.
Yeah. He had a full team, and then on the left he had Tierney. He had Kolasinac, and in the middle he had Chaka, and then the eight
Ceballos.
Mainsley, Torreira, Guendouzi, Joe Willock, and he had on the wings Reece Nelson and Pepe, Saka, Martinelli, Aubameyang, Lacazette, Eddie, and Belugan. Don't you think this team could have gotten us eighth twice and fifth once? We could have stayed with that team, developed those players, and now coming into what people call the most important transfer window, we would have had what 350 million to spend. This is how teams big buy big players that they go like when we bought Ozil for 42.5 million. Our previous record was 16. We spent on Arshavin, or 17. That's it.
Mhm.
17 million. We went out and we bought we when we wanted to spend money because we have been good with money, we were able to spend 42.5 million. And we were looking at Luis Suarez in that same window. We offered 40 million and £1, and they
Mhm.
didn't approve. So he was ready to spend 80 million pounds after totaling minus 10 in the past 10 years. And this is how you go at it. Once you know you are ready to compete, once you're 100% sure that you know what you want and you can build on this team within 2 years, this is when you go about spending. You don't come with zero experience. Director and manager had zero experience, and throw 250 million in five transfer windows, and then say, okay, this is the most important window. We're not gonna make top four next year. This is, I know this comes as news, and I don't predict shit, but this is kind of obvious because This year it was wide open. It was handed to us, and we didn't take it. It was handed to us because Tottenham changed, I think, three managers in the same year, and they finished on top of us. And Manchester United changed two managers, and they sucked big time. And there's no way a team that good will keep sucking that bad. And even Chelsea, they finished on top of us. Then they played like crap. And you have West Ham is gonna get deeper. You have Newcastle is already getting deeper. You have Everton who are not gonna screw up again, and they have a billionaire on the helm. You have so many good teams. Wolverhampton will probably, I don't know how good or bad they're gonna be next year. So it's gonna be much harder. And the amount of players that we need to add, and the amount of experience that the manager has to just accumulate in the next 3 4 months just to compete with those people are impossible. It's not gonna happen. So what I say is, think about the club, think about the future. You have done a clear out. We have cleared a lot of people and cost us a lot of money. Usually, when teams clear out, they get money back. No, we paid money to clear out. So we did a clear out. Think about it. Get in the right players and build on it for a couple of years, and don't spend. Be careful with money, because when a player like Mbappe or Vinicius Jr. or let's say any of these young guys who are popping up right now is worth 80, 90, 100 million, we would be in the mix talking about it because we have the money. That's it.
Well,
That's the only thing.
George, the 350 million that we spent over the last 2 years, that's a pretty much debt that we are in right now, making us one of the fifth most indebted club in the Europe. Correct? That's what it is from the figure we got from, who was the company again? Um, who was the accounting firm? I don't remember. But George, we have squandered so much money. We sent Guendouzi out on loan. And we speak about that all the while. He's worth 33 million. We are getting 9 million for him. But we paid his wages. We paid Ozil's wages. We're getting 1 point something million euros on loan for Torreira. We put Chambers on loan. Saliba on loan.
Bellerin alone.
Bellerin on loan. How do guys, audience, how do you explain such waste? And then guys are expecting another 200 million. I mean, I listen to podcasts. I go on Twitter. I don't accuse you guys. Guys, do your thing. Make your money. But how do you explain such a waste of money, George?
Well, you can't, can you? It's just gross incompetence. I mean, it just blows my mind. We paid 30 million for Ramsdale. Is he better than Leno? Well, if he is, fucking sell Leno. Sell him last year.
I won't interrupt you, George. I don't want to interrupt you, but we want to sell Leno for 10 million euros. This is what I see. Keep going, my friend.
Well, of course you will. And I tell you what, we'll fucking probably sell him for that, because we're shit at selling it. Because clubs know that they can come and offer us peanuts, and they cannot. I mean, Bellerin, they don't even want to pay for him. They want us to give him, finish his contract and give it him. Why do they expect us to do that? Because we have set the precedent. Not only do we give our players away, but we pay for them to fucking go. It's fucking mad, Jesus.
We paid Aubameyang's wages.
You remember when we gave Aubameyang 350 million per £1,000 a week? We said it was because it would cost 60 or 70 million to replace him, because that's how much he was worth. And then we gave him away and paid his wages. Staggering, fucking absolutely staggering. And it won't get any better. We'll do it again.
Yep.
If we're not careful. I mean, let's say we buy that Tielemans.
Yes.
He's not getting in the team. 2 months down the line, he won't be fucking playing unless they sell Xhaka, and that would be just like us to pay 30 or 40 million for him and sell Xhaka for 10. That's typical fucking Arsenal. It's so bad, it's just a joke. And it's so important now that we spend the right money on the right players. And the form for doing that is terrible. Just look at the fucking team. Look at Kolasinac. You're not telling me he's not better than Tavares. And we already had him. Everywhere you look, every time they bring somebody in, it costs us 30 or 40 million pounds to buy them and pay whoever is coming in to replace to leave. And we don't, and if anything, we get slightly worse in that position. You can't run a football club like that. You just can't. And people will tell you, oh, it's a process. He wants all his own players. And like I said 5 or 10 minutes ago, if he's picking these players because they suit his system, why the fuck can he not play them then? They're not getting games. So obviously he's bought the wrong players. But he won't get criticised for that. If we loan Tavares out, why have we bought him? You know, Saliba. 3 years we've had him. I remember the excitement in the fan base that he was coming and we were going to see him play and he was going to be one of the best young centre-backs in Europe. Yeah. Everybody was excited to see him 3 years ago and we still haven't fucking seen him. Still haven't seen him kick a fucking ball. Seriously, not exaggerating. He has not kicked a fucking ball in 3 years.
Ehab, George is right, but it bothers me. It bothers me that the fan base can't see through this. We're just churning players, wasting money, and they expect us to be able to find $200 million this year, euros. You see, you got about $200 million, maybe 150 million euros, because we need a central midfielder, we need another centre forward. Do you agree with me? Who do we need? Get me put words in your mouth. Who do we need this year? Because we're going to play in Europe. I'm sorry.
The way things are going, we need a center midfielder because Lokonga and Partey haven't been it. We need a center midfielder that can play next to Chaka, and probably need a striker if you don't wanna rely on Eddie and Balogun.
Balogun had one game for the club against Brentford, my friend, and that was it. He was just completely removed.
or he can I don't know. He can rely a bit on Martinelli too. And the thing is, if he's not gonna play Tavares, now he's going to need a Tierney replacement because Tierney is always injured, and he is going to need somebody just to back him up and a good backup. So probably gonna spend 10 million on the left back, 10 to 15 million on the left back. Probably gonna spend 30 to 40 on the midfielder. At striker, this is the problem. A world-class striker to a club like Arsenal, who's shit at negotiating right now, and who everybody knows they need a striker. Probably going to let us pay 70 to 80 million, 60 if we are being if we take option B. So just right there's 125 million, which is on path to what we've been spending, through Arteta's reign. He averages 125 million, 125 million a year. So they're gonna spend it again, and I don't see it, man. I mean, the thing is, we were spoiled. We went from getting 3 million for Vito Manoni in 2011. We sold him to Stoke, and 15 million for Alex Song, and I think 15 million for Vermaelen. To Bayern, to Real Betis doesn't want to pay a penny for Bayern. They just want to take him, and they are going to take him. You know, it's gonna stretch out until like 2 weeks before the season, and they're just gonna say that mutual agreement or whatever. Uh, I mean, we sold Chambers, an English center back who can play right back, for I think it's 1.5. It's after all the additions, it comes to 1.5 million, and they announced it with the additions that we sold him for 4 million, including additions. Like if Aston Villa won the Champions League, he's gonna get 1 million, and it's bullshit, man.
I'm supposed to be the sober host here, and I can't suppress myself.
It's,
It's
it's amazing,
crazy.
and the thing is, like George said, now it's going to get down to the players who are holding the team together, and people like Chaka, he's gonna be looked at because they cannot sell Party. If they sell Party, I don't think he's gonna bring in 20 million right now. He's 29, and I think he's I think he scored with Arsenal 2 goals and had 2 assists in 3 years. That's it. So if you wanna two something years, so if you wanna sell Party with those kind, yeah, this is it. He had 1 assist and 2 goals. Perfect, man. Yeah, tho-
There you
oh my
go.
god. Oh my god. And
You
this
see
is
what I'm
and he
saying?
had and he
No
had three good
goals.
games or 4 good games. So you wanna sell him. He's not gonna bring in more than 20 million. And uh they're not gonna lose 30, 35 million on him just like that. And they're gonna look into Chaka, who has 1 year left. Mourinho wants him at Roma. He's probably gonna get 20 million for Chaka, who's 30, and maybe they're gonna sell him. Rob Holding, now with Saliba coming out, nobody talked about him. He's the best defender at the club, better than Ben White, better than Gabriel, better than Saliba. But everybody now, the thing is, our fan base is so stupid. When we've never sub drop Holding out and conceded in a game, and when he starts, he plays well. Always, he always plays well. We subbed him in for when Chaka got sent off at Liverpool and got a 0-0 draw, and Chaka got sent in early in the first half. so, so this guy came in, sat on the low block, and defended Liverpool with all their stars. Didn't concede a goal. And this is what he's nobody looks at him and says, you know what, we need this guy, we need this player. Same
He,
goes
he,
for
wa-
Nenny.
he wasn't right good at Spurs, though, was he?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
I
was.
mean, yeah. I
Well,
mean,
George, you know
No,
my view on that, George.
let's not pretend he's a saviour.
Yeah, I
he's
know
not
that,
a
but
savior, but he's the best we got right now. You have to give constant. You have to give him time if you expect consistency back. Sorry, and if you want him to to give you the same performance all the time, you have to give him consistent time, and we don't. We just throw him in every now and then. He plays well. Same with the nanny. They play well. They get ejected, and people are like, "Oh, you just like him because he's the Wenger signing." Oh my God, it's amazing, man. I don't like him
you
just
know,
because he's Wenger signing, but we bought Holding at 2.5 million. We paid 5 million for Chaka. We paid 30 million for Chaka. 5 million for Nenny. All of them are cheaper than Party. And yeah, and they given us 6 and 7 years. If we buy smart, like Kieran Tierney at 25 million at his age, it's a little bit high, but in today's market, I take it. It's perfect. He's a great signing. Even Ramsdale, but we should have sold Leno when he was at his highest. And Pepe had a run for us 1 year ago where he scored in 6 games or 7 games in a row, and we should have sold him back then because Pepe, I can't see him bringing in more than 25 million. I just can't.
Ehab is Reading you're seeing in terms of losses on the sales of players. George, in defense of Rob Holding, before I even answer the question, Rob Holding was asked to play tight on Son in that game, and that's not Rob Holding's game. He was following Song outside the penalty box, George. So cut Rob some slack, and it was you always talk about playing to instruction. I thought Rob was instructed. I just coming to his defense. I know you.
I'm
No,
saying,
he had a bad game, a really bad game.
Yeah, I know,
George
but
is right. George is right. Rob Holding sucked, at Tottenham, and there's no other way to put it. But the thing is, I mean, I take a bad game, but it's defensively and the way he defends and the way he covers and the way he reads the game. He's much better than the other two that we got. We conceded what 37, 38 goals. Uh, where did the rest come from? I mean, everybody made the mistake on that team. If we given Rob Holding the same time that we've given to Gabriel, the same minutes, he would have been more comfortable against somebody like Spurs.
well, Gabriel is unsaleable because he's put in 5 goals. Nobody remembers some of the mistimed tackles and the impact, the red cards he has got because he makes rash decisions. And Gabriel, I'm not coming down hard on you. I'm just saying that the fans look on you not because you're a defender, but because you scored 5 goals from set pieces. George, so what do you think of all these likely replacements? Because that's what everybody wants to know. They want to know that you're a transfer maven, that you have been on YouTube evaluating all of these people. The Tillermans.
you know
Yeah,
what?
tell me.
I haven't a fucking clue. I really don't. If it was me, I would go to Pep Guardiola and I'd say, which of your players can we fucking take off you? Who have you got that you don't really need to keep? Not that you don't want. I know you can keep them all, but who can we have that you don't really need? And there's the money. Any of them. Sterling, Gundogan, Jesus, Shevchenko,
Yes.
any of them. All of them. Any of them. All or all.
Well,
Which do we have? Because immediately those guys are our best players.
yeah.
Can we have them? You don't need them. Let us have them. And we'll give you enough money to make it worthwhile. And you can cook the books then and pretend that you're trading at a profit.
Well, George.
And that's what I do. That would be my transfer strategy. Can we have your second-hand players? And I'd go to Liverpool and I'd say, what about you? Have you got any you don't need? What about that for me? Can we have him?
Well,
don't
is
need
he
him
nearly
now.
30? Is he nearly 30? Because he's
Yeah,
like,
so what? So he's nearly 30. Good. We'll have
Yeah.
him. We'll have 3 years out of him. You've got Luis now. You don't need him. Come on. Pass him over. That would be my transfer strategy.
Well, that seems to be the thinking of the mainstream media and Twitter. Like any likely player out of Manchester City, their names is on is on every transfer list is on in social media.
Well, why not though? Because Manchester City's second 11 would come second in the league behind Liverpool.
Ehab, what about you? Are you thinking that you agree with George's transfer strategy? Do you have anything different?
I actually agree with George on this, but I don't think this is the way to go because I think we have to get everybody on loan back. Look at the team as a team right now, and then decide what we need. Not we have people on loan. We decided that are not good enough, but that's not the way. You have Reece Nelson, who's done well at his club, and now he's played consistent football. So why not? He played well at Arsenal. Why not bring him in? And this will give you the freedom to move Gabby Martinelli to striker again with Eddie, and you're not losing any money. You have ESR, Saka, Odegaard, and you have Reece Nelson and Pepe on the bench. You're not losing any money. All you have to do is just start Martinelli as a striker, and you can start Eddie as a striker, and then sub him off, or bring Eddie like you used to bring Aubameyang from the left wing, or bring Gabriel like he used to bring Aubameyang from the left wing. In the middle, in the midfield, we have sent Aziz on loan, and he was promising, and he did get good. He didn't do badly on his loan. We have to get him back. You have Neni, you have the Chaka, you have Partiello Congo. You bring Ainsley Maitland-Niles back. You have this option too, and now your midfield is loaded. Ainsley can play on the right with Cedric and Tomayasu, and you bring Saliba back. You have Guendouzi on loan too. You have Torreira on loan. I don't know if you let him go or not. If you bring Guendouzi back, if you don't
Can't bring him back.
sell him,
That's not happening.
Can't
it's
bring
gone.
him
Yeah.
back.
No, there's an option.
What?
There's an option to buy. There's an option to buy.
Oh
on
yeah, that's
Guendouzi.
it. So all you have once you do this, all you have to do is just buy a backup left back, and that's it. We don't have to go into all of this crap that we're doing right now. Sell Leno and buy a backup left back, and keep the rest of the team. They're supposed to do better. If you wanna go better, if you wanna keep
You see,
selling and releasing,
yeah,
go
we
ahead.
can't do that. We can't do it. It's impossible because to do that, Arteta has to hold his hand up and say, "I should have kept these players and improved them
Yeah,
18
but
months." He's not going to
we've
do it.
seen
He's
him.
not going to do it.
We've,
He's not going to fucking say, "I shouldn't have sent Torreira away. I shouldn't have sent Maitland-Niles away. I shouldn't have
yeah,
sent uh, uh, Hector
yeah.
Bellerin away."
They
He's
will
not going
That,
to do it. He can't do it.
they will
He
find the
can't
PR
do
though.
it.
you
They will
He
know,
find
can't.
the PR. Like he's brought players that haven't panned out and just discarded them, and they found the PR for him. Like Willian on 10 million a year, for example, or Party on 13 million a year, or Lukango who hasn't been playing since the start of the season, or loaning out Saliba, or whatever he did with Aubameyang. He gave Aubameyang a contract for 350k, and then now he paid him money to fuck off. So he's done it. He's went back and said I'm wrong, but people has done the PR that so he it sounded like it's not.
no, no,
People
no, no,
have
no,
done the.
Yeah,
no,
but
no,
it
no.
was
I have
it
to
was
agree
all
with. I have to
it
agree
was
with George. Go ahead, George. Go
it
ahead,
was
George.
it was all the same story. The PR is consistent. We were getting the dead wood out because I need my players in. That was the story for all of them. That was
Yeah,
what they told us with Ozil, Torreira, Aubameyang,
yeah,
all of them. We need that
but
long-standing dead wood out to get my players in. You can't now turn around and say that was all a
the,
load of bollocks that I gave you.
the,
I made
the
a
funny
mistake
part is
and I'm
the
bringing them back. It's not going to. It's not going to wash. No.
yeah, but he's done this with Neni and Eddie. Those people were out the door.
Yeah,
Those
but they
weren't
weren't out
starting.
the door. They weren't out the
The,
door.
like and then he said in an interview that he was informed that he's not needed, and he goes on the Egyptian TV and he says, although I understand the system, I understand Arteta much better right now, but if Arsenal offered me a contract, I would stay. And he still was benched until Partey was injured, and we were forced to bring him back, and now we gave him a new contract. Same goes with Eddie. Eddie was always, will he leave? Will he not leave? There were always rumors. People want him. Aubameyang left, so he stayed in July. If Aubameyang stayed in January, Eddie would have gone. But
Of course he would. Yeah. But
yeah,
I'm
but
just saying
now
that
we're giving him
it's not going to
100k a
happen.
week.
It can't happen. It can't. Honestly, I, it would. It would have to climb down so far and go against all the previous PR that he just can't do it. The club can't do it. They can't. They seem to be doing it. It's for fun.
I still think it's much better than spending 125 million
Yeah,
and finishing sixth.
don't get me wrong. I'm not arguing with you with the idea that it would be better. It
I
would.
get it. I get it.
What I'm
We
saying
agree on
is,
it, but he's not gonna
it is.
do it. I get it.
It can't do it for me. It can't.
Yeah, we're
Well,
gonna spend
uh, this
120.
is this is this is the conclusion. I just want to see. I mean, I want to hear you guys expose. But it's difficult for me to see them doing the right thing. it's difficult for me to see them adapting your strategy, Ehab. It is the right strategy, but they are committed to the PR. They're committed to the. He needs the right players. The only way you stop that is that if you jump the manager and start all over again, which is
No.
which is a lot of money,
Yeah.
guys. I don't know if you can add any more to it. The the the, the fan base seems to have no idea of how much we have spent and lost, how much wastage of players, how much wastage of talent. George, your final word. What do you expect in the window? And Ehab, you'll have the final word as well. What do you
Okay.
expect him to do finally? Don't tell me what you think he will do. You hope he will do. What do you expect him to do? George?
I expect him to buy a midfielder and a striker that are reasonably decent quality, and then some fill-ins as well that we can call projects, and that we can say they'll be all right in a couple of years' time, so he can get away with not buying stars. But if I had to guess, if I had to say what he will do, I think he'll buy Tielemans. I think he'll buy Jesus.
And you, Ehab, your final word. What will he do? Not what you hope he will do.
Well, he will spend 100 million, buying a striker and a midfielder, maybe a backup left back. Um, and that's it. This is what he will do. Um, it's a mess, and we're just adding to it right now, and it has to be like I don't know. It's like building on top of something, and you hope that you just keep put enough on top of each other till you get like a level ground that you can get something out of it. And this doesn't. This is not how it works. He's gonna spend 100 million. This is what I'm saying.
Okay, well, on that note, he's gonna spend 100 million. It's just that you and George have both agree, midfielder and a striker. You think a left back. George thinks George, not a left back. You're thinking of another type of player to fill in. I think you're saying the rest will be just used as fillers. Let us leave it at that because after July it's gonna come back up again. But we all know we're going to be scrambling in the last week of the window. Trust me on that, because last minute decisions have been made about very expensive players. And if we go by history, we're going to commit financial suicide as usual. Thank you very much, guys, for this one. And I look forward to people giving their input. Like and subscribe. We're going to do a lot more of this kind of review with other members of the. Thank you all.
Yeah. And
Thank you.
no more broadcasts from kindergartens.
It's actually university.
Yes. Yeah,
See
well,
you
we
later.
understand, and you came through clearly.
Okay, guys.
Thank you very
Bye.
much. Thank you both.
Bye bye.
Bye.